Greetings, everybody. Montecon Studio, Lauren Montecon. It is summertime here in Santa Fe, and I am preparing. Well, I've got two things going on. I've got a body of work that is changing, and which, when change starts to happen in life, it can feel really uncomfortable. I have some big transitions in my life, and it's showing up in my painting. And the other thing that's happening is I'm going to have a dive deep weekend with participants coming, and I'm going to have Valerie scroll the studio very slowly so you can see. Now, here's the thing. This is what's going on. I'm going to do a short demo of how things are changing for me. But before I do that, I want to, I'm an atmospheric painter. I'm about transcendence of what it is to move from one dimension to another. And I'm realizing in saying that, in being an empath in the work that I do, that the transition that's happening now for me is an end of a cycle in my life, a beginning of a new one. And also, the atmosphere that I do, I'm noticing harder edges are wanting to come in. Not so much organic forms, but hard edges that are working to encompass, I guess the word that I want to say is working together what is soft, what is hard. Kind of in the world right now with asking for us to go internal inside ourselves, to soften ourselves in vulnerability, but we're also up against this outer world that can sometimes seem harsh. When I'm making a body of work, I don't always necessarily know what it's about, but I'm articulating to share with you all, to share with what my process is. And that's what's coming up today. This probably will evolve and change. So you're going to notice this. Here's some ideas that are indicative to this. These shapes, these large shapes that are coming in. I did a smaller piece that started it all, and I was a little surprised when it came out of me. I'm not that interested, especially if you ever read my blog, and I just did one. It's for July 2022 on the work of Georgia O'Keeffe and how we have in the 21st century got so superficial with our shapes. And so when I made this, I'm like, oh, here I am making these superficial shapes. But what I realized was what I was just describing, kind of that harder edge. And now, how will I soften it up? I don't know yet, but I'm going to leave that alone as a study. Here's another study. And I'm going to show you how I do these transparent layers. This is an oil, and you do have to wait for it to dry, and I'm going to do one here in a moment. So that's number 2. Here's atmosphere. It's like, okay, I'm going from here. This was the piece that is indicative of, let's say, last year, the last body of work that I made. And now I've got these strange circular shape, this shape, almost like a bird in flight. And then, after making that small piece that I just shared that's more geometric, this one. And for those of you that are in my membership, let's say, in June 2022, you saw how this piece was transitioning, so you might want to go back and look at that. But here it is, another phase, these shapes. It's not done, it's still in process, so this is one of those kind of paintings that someone might look at it and go, wow, that looks like it has a lot of layers. Yeah, it's one of my problem childs that I had to go put away for like 6 months and to bring back, and we'll see what happens. So there's another one up back here. We're going to see if I can kind of merge the atmosphere. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but this one, there's something disturbing for me, so I have to sit with it because it's uncomfortable. So I might not like go into this right away. I did enough in the last 4 weeks that I really need to do that, get a cup of tea, let it talk to me. What does it want? Now this one over here, I feel is almost done. It's doing that atmosphere and a portal, another piece that might be an ascension into something higher. I'm looking at it now, and there's just maybe some little tweaks I want to do, but a title hasn't come to me yet. So there's that. Now I'm going to go over here and kind of show you how I'm adding that geometrical layer as a demo. So like I said, this is oil. Each layer kind of needs to dry so you can get that transparent feel. I'm using a flat, and I have linseed oil, just some linseed oil, and a transparent earth orange, and a cadmium yellow. And I'm also going to grab some baby wipes to clean. For those of you that feel like you can't make that straight edge, if you're wanting to do that, I often tape, but I'm going to try to do this by hand because I don't know what shape I want to do. I just want to see what kind of happens here while I'm talking to you all. Here I go. So now if I get a lot of pigment on here, but I still want it to be transparent, I call this the fluff brush. But it's kind of like a, now notice it's a play. You want to wipe a lot. I want to keep so you can see what's happening underneath, and I do not want brush strokes. So that is why I take more pigment. When I'm working big, I don't usually work small, but I like to have paper pieces that are sitting around, or the one I just showed you right here. Now, I just did that, and what I notice is I don't really want it to go all the way, so I'm going to see if I can, nope, can't wipe it. I thought maybe I could get back to the white, but I can't. But I can change this shape. You know, that combination of sort of organic, like here's a soft edge and then a hard edge. Like, tricky. Now we're gonna leave that for right now. And now I'm gonna try one with the transparent earth orange. And I'm gonna get a little baby piece and just, that already has something on it. Let's see if I can just start the shape. What happens if we mix a little yellow? We're gonna get mustard. Notice I did not mix the two too much on the palette beforehand. I'm just sort of mixing as I go. And then wait for this to dry and do a blue, the opposite color, over it, so you can still see that orange underneath. We'll see where all these go. I'm just as curious as the next person that might say, huh, I wonder what she's going to do next. I don't know. But it's interesting because throughout my career of painting, I've never been interested really of doing solid shapes in my paintings, not too often. It's all that process that I share with you all is, once you get to know me, I'm into layers. It's all about the layers, and I also feel the layers, they hold energy. Paint holds energy. The alchemy of pigment that gets mixed with, let's say, the linseed oil that you use. Or lately, I've been using like a lavender oil, a lavender spike oil that is, it's a alternative to, let's say, mineral spirits. Also, another thing that you can use in your painting, I'm gonna go grab it. If you're painting in oil, you can mix this with your linseed oil, and it's a sweet orange. Essential oils. And one, it smells really good. And two, I think that it is like a cleansing vibration you're putting into your paintings. And I don't care if that sounds a little, what's the word I'm looking for? I'll let you fill in the blank. But, I mean, if art is a spiritual practice, you might as well start creating altars, like the one I have in my corner, ringing bells to clear energy before you paint, and setting intentions. And an intention doesn't need to be, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. An intention could be, all right, if I have assistants out here, please come and help me with my painting. May only the highest good come through in this painting session. Resolution is not always the key. But in order to stay fresh and authentic, it might take a while. You might be in a rut for a while and find you're making sort of the same paintings for a while, but it will change. If you have the intention, you've got to take the risk. Creativity is about risk, never following the consensus, but always coming back to what is my voice, what is my voice, what is my voice. Individuality, going against the flow is okay. Thanks for listening. See you later.